the money game you were never meant to win. Your wealth is being stolen right now. Not by hackers. Not by criminals. By the system itself. And it's completely legal. There's a game being played with money. A game with rules that have existed for centuries. Rules that destroyed empires, bankrupted nations, and made a few people unimaginably wealthy. The problem? Nobody ever taught you these rules. You learned to work hard, save money, and trust the system. But the wealthy understand something entirely different. Tonight, I'm revealing 7 laws that control money. Laws that operate like gravity, invisible, unbreakable, merciless. Once you see them, everything that feels unfair suddenly makes perfect sense. England, 1560. Queen Elizabeth's treasury is empty. Wars are draining resources. Raising taxes could spark rebellion. Her advisors devise a brilliant solution: dilute the silver coins. Mix in cheap copper. Keep the face value the same. Free money for the crown. But merchant Thomas Gresham notices something strange. Within months, pure silver coins vanish. People hoard them, melt them, ship them overseas. Everyone spends the new debased coins immediately. Gresham discovers the universal pattern. When 2 types of money exist, people always spend the inferior one and save the superior one. Always. Ancient Rome? Same thing. Citizens paid taxes with worthless coins while burying pure silver in gardens. Medieval merchants hoarded real gold when kings clipped coins. The lesson: you cannot fool people about money. They'll adapt. Your scheme becomes a crisis. This is Gresham's law. It's operating now. You spend dollars, not Bitcoin. Why? Dollars lose value. Bad money drives out good. But there's a darker side. Germany, November 1923. Weimar hyperinflation. A woman walks to the bakery with a basket full of paper marks. Enough for 1 loaf of bread. She sets it down for a moment. The basket vanishes. The money? Still there. Billions of marks scattered on the street. The thief wanted the basket, not the currency. This is when all rules invert. When money becomes so worthless, people won't hold it for 5 minutes. French economist Adolphe Thiers identified this. In complete collapse, the dynamic reverses. Good money gets spent immediately. Bad money gets abandoned entirely. People flee into anything real. Gold. Cigarettes. Food. Tools. Zimbabwe 2008. Venezuela recently. Every nation that prints its way out learns this lesson. 2 Deaths of currency. Slow death. Bad money crowds out good. Sudden death. Everyone runs simultaneously. Most of us exist in the gray area. And that's where invisible theft happens. Early 1700s. Economist Richard Cantillon observes something disturbing. New money doesn't spread evenly. It moves like ink in water, concentrated at the source, diluted outward. When governments create money, someone gets it first. Banks. Institutions. Connected businesses. They spend it while prices still reflect the old supply. They buy assets at yesterday's prices. Then it moves outward. By the time it reaches ordinary workers, prices already rose. After 2008, central banks created trillions. Stock markets soared. Real estate exploded. Wages barely moved. Why? Those closest to the printer bought assets first. By the time stimulus reached ordinary people, housing and groceries had jumped. This is the Cantillon effect. Inflation isn't just rising prices. It's a systematic wealth transfer. From you to them. Most people blame themselves. I'm not working hard enough. No. You're playing a rigged game where the house gets the cards first. After World War II, governments faced mountains of debt. No clear way to repay it. Raising taxes would cause riots. Defaulting would destroy credibility. So they invented something subtle: financial repression. Central banks set interest rates below inflation. Your savings earn 2%. Inflation runs at 4%. You lose 2% yearly. Guaranteed. Meanwhile, regulations trap your money. You can't escape. The system melts your wealth. While your savings erode, governments borrow at those low rates. They repay yesterday's debt with tomorrow's cheap money. You're funding it through negative returns. After 2008? Rates near zero for a decade. Savers lost trillions in purchasing power. $100,000 in 2008 was still $100,000 in 2020. But you lost 25 to 30% in real terms. The pandemic? Same playbook, faster. If you held cash, housing and food prices sprinted away. The genius? It's invisible. No tax line says wealth confiscation. It just happens. Quietly. Year after year. Some laws destroy entire empires. 1960 economist Robert Triffin warns Congress. America's reserve currency status has a fatal flaw. The paradox: if the dollar runs global trade, America must supply dollars. That requires trade deficits, spending more abroad than you earn. Short term? Looks fantastic. American power expands globally. Long term? Poison. The more dollars exported, the weaker each becomes. Trust cracks. Triffin warned in the 1960s when the dollar was backed by gold. By 1971, Nixon proved him right. The gold link snapped. The dollar became pure fiat. Since then, chronic deficits. Factories closed. Debt accumulated. Dollar dominance kept the game running. Until now. China and Russia test alternatives. Central banks buy gold at record rates. The dollar dominates, but cracks show. The trap is mathematical. To maintain global power, you sacrifice domestic economy. A throne turning to quicksand. The moment you control a number, it stops reflecting reality. Economist Charles Goodhart discovered this in the 1970s. When measurement becomes a target, it ceases being useful. Central banks target 2% inflation. To hit that, they manipulate everything. Official inflation stays low. But housing, healthcare, education? Skyrocket. Dashboard says stability. Your life says chaos. Or GDP. Politicians worship it. So they juice it. Pile on debt. Inflate bubbles. Number rises. Real economy hollows out. Managing by metrics creates simulation while foundations rot. Leaders believe their fake numbers. They lose touch with reality. By the time truth catches up, it's too late. One last law. Brutal math. Early on, debt works like magic. Borrow $1, create $1 of growth. Build infrastructure. Expand economy. But as debt accumulates, returns shrink. Borrow $1, get 50 cents growth. Then 25. Then nothing. Eventually, you borrow just to service old debt. The machine stops moving. It vibrates in place. We're there now. U.S. debt exceeds $35 trillion. Each borrowing round produces less real growth. Instead, it props up markets and maintains illusions. Rome debased coins when expansion stopped. France borrowed into revolution. Britain strained under war debts. Every empire reaches this point. Debt transforms from tool to burden. Borrowing becomes life support. No escape. Can't grow fast enough. Can't tax enough. Can't default. Only delay. Distort. Hope the bill comes later. So what does this mean? These laws are money's operating system. Patterns rooted in human nature and math. They explain why saving feels futile. Why raises don't help. Why housing becomes unaffordable while markets boom. Why you work harder but feel poorer. The hard truth: the system was never designed for ordinary people to win. It extracts from the periphery, concentrates at the center. Not through conspiracy. Through mechanics, how money flows and who controls it. You follow transparent rules. Others operate in opacity. You earn wages after prices rise. They receive money before prices move. You hold depreciating currency. They hold appreciating assets. But understanding changes everything. You can't rewrite money's laws. But you can stop wondering why you're running uphill. Stop blaming yourself for an unfair game. The people who grasp these rules end up wealthy. Not smarter. They just see the board. History doesn't repeat exactly. But these laws never rest. They've operated since the first coin. They'll operate after today's currencies are museum pieces. One question remains. Will you keep playing blind? Or will you finally learn the rules?